Nisargadatta Maharaj, who was an enlightened person, there's a story that basically someone told him that, you are Brahmgyani. And he said that, oh, why have you insulted me? I'm not Brahmgyani. I am Brahman. And that reminds me of that entire difference between knowing and being. Because I think whoever's listening has probably come to the stage where they feel that maybe now they can deal with conflicts, whether it's from the smallest conflict to heat waves, to being stuck in the traffic light, to bigger issues such as relationship issues, to traumas in life. But that whole aspect of knowing versus being, how to actually transition into that being.
Yes, that's a good question. I'll answer that at two levels. One is the first and foremost, the practice level. So in spiritual life, we begin by knowing many things. Whether it's the Bhakti Shastras which tell us about God and how to worship God and how to love God. But we've just known these things. We have read the stories and we have not yet started. Then there is the Yoga Shastras which tell us how to sit, how to breathe, how to withdraw our senses from the world, how to concentrate inside and focus and meditate and attain Samadhi. But that's just, we have read the book, Yoga Sutras, and we have read about the practices. We haven't started yet. So this is the phase of knowing. And then you translate into being. Being means doing those things and making it part and parcel of our existence. Training the body, training the mind, developing the habits. So whether it's a bhakti practice, whether it's a yogic practice, or even physical hatha yoga, you can read a book on the asanas and pranayam and finish every book in the library, you still get no benefit at all until you actually do it. So the link between knowing and being is the doing. And in doing, what is crucial is repetition. It's a very simple point I'm making, but repetition is central to doing. It's not central to knowing. Once you know it, you know it. You don't have to keep repeating the knowing, but you have to keep repeating the doing. The doing sadhana takes repetition. Spiritual practice takes repetition. So that's one way of translating knowing into being. Take up a systematic course of practice. Whether it is hatha yoga, whether it is meditation, whether it is bhakti, systematic course of sadhana, which will translate that knowing into being. That's one answer. Advaita is where things get interesting, where knowing directly translates into being. Here in Advaita Vedanta, the problem is not knowing.
Yes.
And the solution is knowing. The solution is not further practice. In yoga, in bhakti, the problem is the lack of practice. It's not the lack of knowledge, the lack of practice. That's the problem. But in Advaita, it's the not knowing is the problem. And so the solution is knowing. In fact, in Advaita Vedanta, knowing and doing become the same. What's the practice in Advaita Vedanta? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You study it, that means you're knowing. You think about it, that means you're knowing. And then what you've thought about, stay with it until it becomes a fact. That is being. So knowledge translates directly into being there. I'm speaking in abstractions. Let me put it directly. You are Brahman. What is your being? What is my being? Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. That I do not know. Well, know it. However, there is a little bit of a wrinkle here, a little bit of a footnote to be added. People might say, sold. I will know it, and then I will realize I am Brahman. Yes, that's what Vedanta says. The only problem is it doesn't work. I know it. I've been reading so many books and listening to so many lectures, and I really have understood it to a little extent at least. But I don't think I am Brahman yet. I can't honestly say that. I understand that what the texts are telling me, but I don't feel that I am Brahman. Now note, a classical Advaita teacher would tell us that you have not even understood yet. If you truly understand, you will realize that you are Brahman. There would be no gap between knowing and being. The problem is, the way of acting in the world does not only depend upon what we know or do not know. It depends upon our past conditioning. The way we have conditioned our mind and senses, behavior patterns. So even after we know some things, we still continue to behave in the old ways.
The samskaras.
Therefore, in Advaita Vedanta, to remove the problems which arise in spiritual life, there is a course of a kind of meditation called Nididhyasana, where what you have known Stay with that knowing until it becomes so real to you, you cannot behave in any other way. You will behave according to your realization that I am Brahman. Then the task is done. This is called assimilation. Assimilation. Vivekananda says, tell yourself again and again, I am that, or I am he, soham, I am that, aham brahmasmi, till it tingles with every drop of your blood. Overcome this smallness, overcome this weakness. I am limitless existence. I am not this little life. I am being, consciousness, bliss itself. I am not this body of flesh and blood. It's there, but I am not it. It's just a tiny expression of the truth that I am. Why should I be afraid? So tell yourself again and again until it tingles with every drop of your blood. Then until it becomes the very life of your life. Then the job is done. Then knowing has become being.
In the midst of problems, then you actually apply this and you keep on.
Correct. Shankaracharya actually says this. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a very ancient term for that hearing, reasoning, meditating, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. This is a common term. That's also from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. But in that Upanishad, there's another set of terms for the same thing. Instead of hearing, instead of Shravana in Sanskrit, the word used is Pandityam, which means scholarship. One can see the link. Hearing, studying, scholarship. Okay, I get it. The second one is interesting. Instead of mananam, thinking over it, the word used is balyam. I'll explain what that means. And the third one, instead of nididhyasana, meditation, the word used is maunam, silence. That also maps. So instead of shravana, manana, nididhyasana, hearing, thinking, meditating, the other set of terms is pandityam, balyam, maunam, scholarship, balyam, whatever that is, and maunam, silence. Now this balyam, Shankaracharya explains there are two ways of interpreting this term. Balyam means the nature of a child. Bala means child. Or balyam means strength. Bala, the Sanskrit word bala means strength. Now these are two interpretations. And Shankaracharya takes the second one. What you just said, living in the midst of life, living that knowledge. So Shankaracharya says there, whatever knowledge you have gained from your study, try to take it out for a spin in the world. See how your mind is when troublesome situations arise. Can I use that knowledge? I am the witness consciousness. The problems are at body-mind level. I am the witness. And then does it calm down the mind? That knowledge. If you live your life on that strength, bala, then the next part, the Vedantic meditation, will be easy and enlightenment will be full-blown, which is called Jivan Mukti. So I'm just elaborating on what you said. Living that knowledge, that connects the knowing and the being.